going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Lasting Thoughts Podcast. I am your host, Digital Relaxation. We are back again for not only another episode, but the final episode of the podcast. So, as always, you guys enjoy what you hear. If you're going to hear, please be sure to share, rate, all that good stuff. Because this is it. This is the closing of a chapter. And I know the big question is, what is this episode even gonna be about? Well, this episode was gonna be a lot shorter because the episode before that was supposed to be the last like let me talk about something episode, and this episode is gonna be kind of a farewell type thing. But since I was able to, be greeted by my lovely guests, on the last episode, I can talk a little bit more on this episode. So before we get into, it's not to get into it. This is it. There's no structure. We just gonna talk until we done, and that's it. So what I've been up to or what's coming up, cause ain't gonna be no more updates after this. I haven't been up to anything, honestly. I've been in my quote unquote retirement era of, not really focusing on content creating, because this is technically like the last thing in terms of what I had to do and focus. Like recording this episode right now is the last thing that's on my agenda of things I need to do or create and whatnot. My music is already done. It'll come out the 29th. It'll be on my YouTube and my Bandcamp and all of that. Possibly might make an EP out of it and put it on streaming platforms like I did for my last project. We'll see. Actually, let me talk about that real quick. Not so much the music. I'm mad because I want to do the EP, and the EP is gonna be called Tokyo. The concept of my project is basically a love letter from my life from like the past 2 years of everything I've been dealing with and going through. Good, mostly good, but even negative. Not so much negative, but more so what I got out from the negative. Like when I took the reason why I'm stopping this podcast, because I took 2 hiatus off from this podcast because of going through like the seasonal depression and all of that and dealing with things, and no longer, not so much I don't enjoy doing the podcast, it's just there's not much for me to talk about anymore in terms of this topic of what the podcast is about, which is mostly focusing on mental health stuff. Because for the most part, I like to relate the topics to my life, and like I said, I haven't lived long enough, despite my age, to, and not even so much lived long enough, but also haven't, the time of how long I went through things is even shorter than how long I lived. So it's not so much I can talk about forever. So I feel like I was already losing like that motivation or that connection to keep going. So yeah, I don't know how I got to this, but yeah. So yeah, that's the whole concept of the project, and mostly because of my trips to Japan, kind of that sparked a big, fire in my heart and whatnot about opening my eyes to a new world and seeing new things and doing new things, and getting out of my bubble and seeing new things. So the album is kind of a love letter to also Japan, my trips to Japan, and everything else I've been dealing with mentally and what I've been reflecting on and building on from life. But of course, like I said, I wanted to make an EP just titled strictly Tokyo, and most of the songs that's gonna be on the EP, the songs that's kind of like catered to the Japan trip. But the problem is there's a song on there, more so a beat on there, that's been purchased, and I'm upset about that. I think it's fully purchased, because when I go on the page, it says sold, so I guess no one can buy it anymore. So whoever has it completely owns it. And the sad part about that is that that was the first song I recorded for this project back in probably at the end of 2022. I mean 2023 or 2022. I think it could have been 2020. I think it's 2022. Could have been 2023. Going into 24. Not 100% sure. Not 100% sure. Let me see. No, because if I went to Japan last year, I went to Japan last year. Yeah. So the end of 2023. Yeah. So it sucks that being that was the first song I made. And it was gonna actually be the song that I was like, oh, I was gonna make this a single and get the beat and upload it. And now that it's like I'm at that point, it's like, oh, somebody already has the beat. I can't do nothing with it. I mean, in terms of like, you know, streaming wise and all of that, it's not gonna be removed from the project. Just I can't do nothing else to monetize it or anything if I want to go that route. Yeah, so that's that. The music is done. Streaming. I said last episode that I was gonna continue streaming Assassin's Creed, and then I'll probably stop streaming after that. Low key, I think I already stopped streaming. I've been playing Assassin's Creed off stream because I've just been enjoying just playing games, not with the whole, you know, I'm trying to make a content, and you know I gotta stream and I gotta set up, and also playing games on my computer. Not so much I'm playing it on my Xbox, but because I got stream and all of that, I have it set up on my monitor so I can connect to my computer to stream it and all of that. I don't know. It's not. Yeah, I don't know. It takes kind of the fun out of it for me, I guess. Well, not so much the fun. I feel like that game specifically, Assassin's Creed, is a game that you need to play like on a bigger screen because that game is beautiful, and the details on it, and it's so much better just to watch it on a fully bigger screen than a smaller monitor. So I've just been playing it in my living room, just chilling on my couch gaming, and I'm like, I don't want to feel like taking my Xbox all the way back to my room and setting it all up just to stream, and then that's it. So I think I might be done streaming, maybe, most likely. So yeah, in terms of my content creating stuff, this should be it. So other than that, what I've been doing, besides working, honestly nothing really. I've just been watching shows. You already know I've been watching Hell's Kitchen. I'm on season 10, but I'm gonna take a break on season 10. And I started watching House, which honestly that show started in like the early 2000s. This should be done by now. I think it's like 8 seasons long, so I got a long watch ahead of me. What I want to do is start challenging myself to actually start watching like different things now, instead of just the normal usual stuff that I watch, or more so the usual genres that I watch, which is mostly like, hey, I want to see some hands. So I'm gonna try to watch like more legit films, like go back to like old films, like beloved films, and see why people like these movies so much and whatnot. And yeah, just do regular stuff. Aside from that, the Splits and Sake podcast that I have, the anime based theme. It's not fully anime, but you know, it's based off of our love for anime that we come together to make the podcast. We still haven't returned, but the plan is to return before we go to DreamCon, which is at the end of May. So we pretty much only have from the rest of us this month and early May to get something done. So if we return to that, of course I'll still be doing that. I'll be doing anything that, you know, if other people want me to do stuff, I would do it. But in terms of me doing my solo things, I'll keep it low key. Like I'm not, like I'll say once I'm done with this music project, I'm done making music. I'm not so much done making music. I'll still make music just for me, I guess. Like I won't promote it. I won't promote my music anymore. Like, oh, look out for this next project. Like I think I'm done with that part, so I'm just gonna, hey, I feel like rapping on this beat. I'm gonna rap on it, and that's it. That's kind of the path I want to go now. So I don't, basically, just enjoy the things I enjoy. Don't put no pressure on it. Don't put no, certain attachment to it or some kind of expectation to it. It's like, if you enjoy doing it, just do it because you enjoy doing it. And whatever happens. So that's kind of my stance on everything now. If something comes to my mind and I genuinely feel like doing it, I'll do it. But I won't make I'm not going to subject people to trying to like, hey, I did this, you should check it out. Like, I didn't do it for you, I did it for me. So it's like whatever. So there's that, the Splits and Sake podcast, music, streaming. I mean, the Splits and Sake start doing streaming, you'll catch me there. But other than that, I think I'm gonna, because funny enough, the album is called Digital Relaxation. So Digital Relaxation is the name of my channel. I call myself or consider myself the host called Digital Relaxation on this podcast. So the brand is Digital Relaxation. My stream is Digital Relaxation. So basically with that album and with this podcast and everything, will probably most likely like come the end of the Digital Relaxation era, I guess. So I told my friend about, I was like, yeah, once I'm done with this podcast, I'm done. And she was like, yeah, you probably gonna come back. And I'm like, nah, I'm done. She's like, yeah, that's what they say, but you probably gonna come back. And I'm like, nah, I'm done. My software seemed to have froze, so I don't know if we're recording still. I don't know what just happened. Let me see. Yeah. I don't know. My software just acted up, but it's still recorded what I said, so we good. But yeah, so basically I was like, what it is, like I said again, if I do come back or whatever, it'll be on my terms or whatever. So the point I'm making, that if I come back to doing a solo podcast, well, I have two ideas. If I return to solo podcasting, it won't be this podcast. This podcast is done. I won't come back to Relaxing Thoughts podcast. I feel like the 100 episode journey is good. So there's no need to proceed with that. But if I come back, it'll be something new. It'll be something different, different topic. Most likely it might be what I originally wanted to do, which of course, since this is going to be the reflection episode, this is kind of alongside the goodbye episode. This is also going to be me doing some self-reflecting on my podcast journey. So we could start there. My podcast, I'm sure I talked about it plenty of times on this podcast, but whatever, last episode. Podcast journey. How did I get into podcasting? I didn't like the idea of podcasts when I first got introduced to a podcast. I wasn't sure what podcasts were. I've always seen, like, I don't know, like, you always hear of it, but I never knew a podcast. Like, I couldn't tell you, like, oh, there's the Joe Rogan podcast or the Joe Budden podcast. Like, I didn't know these existed. So I just heard of the term podcast. I didn't know what it was. It wasn't until 13, probably 2013, 2014. Well, 2013 is when I heard about it. So 2013, a YouTuber that I've been watching, still watch, but yeah, that I've been watching a lot. He normally does gaming content video, like video game reviews, and he used to do trolling videos and all of that. And then one day he just uploaded like this hour-long video, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And like, I thought it was probably like a live stream that he just uploaded, and I'm like, okay. But I clicked on it, and they were like, yeah, it's the podcast. It had podcast on the title too. I'm like, oh, it's the podcast, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Like, I didn't subscribe to your channel to watch y'all yap for like an hour. Like, I came here to watch the gaming content, and it's just like him, just like, you know, just random gameplay in the background. I'm like, I don't want to watch that. So I was like, yeah, I'm good off that. I didn't watch it. But of course, during this time period, I was in college, and of course, y'all know my college story. I did a content soft reset reboot on the things that I've been enjoying in my life towards that. Like, by the time I graduated college, like, my taste in things changed, and how I intake content changed. Like, before, like, I used to only be like, oh, I really like this song, and this is the song I'm gonna listen to, and like, whatever song hits me. But now it's like, no, like, I want to hear the full album. I want to hear the full project. I want to hear the full concept, the full story. So I got more in tune with listening to full albums, because of course back then I did not have a car, and I only went to a community college, so there wasn't no dorm for me to stay. I had to locally use local transportation to get from home to school, which was about almost an hour, more so an hour plus travel from going to school. Well, I mostly did it from going home. So from leaving school, getting on the bus, then from getting off the bus to catching the train. Hopefully you caught that train. Sometimes depending on when the bus comes, catch the train, and then a good probably 30 plus minute walk from the station to my home. So all of that time from waiting on the bus to, like, again, depending on what time you leave school, the bus will always come on every hour. So of course, if I leave class on an hour, and depending where the hall is from the bus stop, I could possibly miss that bus, which means I had to wait for another hour. So that became a thing when you start planning your classes, because you're like, you know, just give me a class or whatever. But then you start realizing, like, timing is important. Like, before, like, when my first year of school, I used to, like, I just like, yeah, man, just give me 2 classes a day, whatever, let's do it, knock it out. Not knowing that, and I of course took it for granted. I was like, you know, yeah, all right, I'll have a class at 9 in the morning, and like at 12 or so, and my next class won't be till like 2:30 or 2 o'clock or 3 or whatever. So I'm sitting there from like 12 something to 2 o'clock just waiting to class. So, you know, the library became my sanctuary. I'll just sit there, read manga, cause that's when I started reading manga compared to watching anime, where right now, currently in my life, I barely watch anime now. I just read because it's more fun and more enjoyable, and it's more, I don't know, I feel like it's more accessible to just find a manga rather than trying to find an anime, you know. And then more so, most manga don't have anime adaptations, so there's some good stories out there that people don't know about, but because they're not an anime and they only watch anime, they missing out on some stories. So, you know, changing how I enjoy things. I feel like I've been yapping. I don't know what my original point was, but podcasting. So yeah, I had all that time. Started getting into listening to albums, and then of course, like I said, I start. I enjoy his content. I support his content. I'm like, all right, it'll be interesting to hear what they talk about. Like, especially if they talk about video games. I like video games. Who don't who don't want to hear about video games? So I was like, all right, I'll give it a chance while I'm going on my way home. It's like, see how long the podcast, like I said, be like an hour plus. I was like, oh, this could kill my entire travel time. Then I started listening to the podcast. They was already like probably 14 episodes deep by the time I finally came around. So like, let me actually listen to it. Uh, so listen to it, started enjoying it. By this time it's probably like 2014 for me. Like yeah, this is dope. I enjoy it. It's a good concept. Getting a couple of your friends who enjoy the things you enjoy, and y'all get to just talk about it. And I like his take on like how they talk about the video game. They don't talk about games like, oh, this new game is out and it's trash, but like they really talk about more so like the industry side of it, and like they talk about the pros and cons of gaming from the consumer and the developer stance of like, these developers are doing these things, but you can't also blame the developers, because it's also probably the publishing company that's paying for them to develop this game. Like, oh, we want to make this game, but this company, EA is like, hey, no, we want microtransaction. So it's like understanding why you can't just go out and just say this game is trash and not understanding the full root of the problem. So I like that take on it, and I like, that's dope. I wanted to do something like this. So fast forward to like 2016, finished college, and then I was like, hey, I asked my friend if she want to do it, because I didn't want to just get on here and yap by myself. I'm like, I ain't gonna talk to myself on the podcast. Little did I know. So of course, she was a guest here. The situation. She lives across the planet, so timing is different. And also 2016 and 2017 was a rough year for mostly her, but for both of us. Both was going through things. So it was understandable. But then I asked my cousin, I was like, yo, you want to do this? Like, we just talk about video games or whatever, anime. Since we both pretty much like the same thing, it'll be easy for us to just talk about it. And he just basically didn't commit to it. It's not so much he didn't say no, it's just that he just, there was no commitment to it. So it just never got off. So I was like, all right, fine. Held off on it. Few years passed by. I'm on YouTube, searching a video about Outlast, and I found this channel, which you already know, she has been a guest a couple of times on this podcast. Dodge This, or I would just call her Dodge, because she changed her channel from Dodge This to Dodge the Grave, but so we just gonna call her Dodge since she's still Dodge. But yeah, I was like, hey, I like this channel, I like what she does, and it was just a small channel, so I commented on the channel because most likely probably get engagement, because I was doing my channel too. And I started my little YouTube channel. I was doing my little stream long ago. I've been doing YouTube and streaming and whatever. So I understand what it's like to once you get that one comment, you do want to cater to whoever's speaking to you. Like, if you go to my videos now, like any comments, for the most part you see, I respond to like almost all of them. So yeah, so I like this video, this is dope. They just kept more videos she uploaded, and I kept on commenting in. And then I don't know how it went, but we eventually started talking a little bit more, and then it went to like, oh, we should collab and do some gameplays or whatever. Did that, and then I was like, this seems kind of like we might as well attempt it. So I was like, hey, I've been trying to do a gaming podcast. People I wanted to do it with, still ain't willing to do it. We both like gaming, but from different point of views. She more prefers like indie games for the most part. So it'll be good like balance of talking about games. She was like, yeah, let's do it. And we started the Gaming Safe Zone podcast. So that was my first podcast between me and Dodge. But unfortunately, I think we only lasted like 7 episodes. We didn't last long because of a difference in passion of the podcast. Like, we both wasn't on the same page of why we was doing this podcast, I guess, and what drives us to do the podcast. So that the podcast ended there. But then I was like, all right, I got a feel for it and I got to understand it for it. So I'm gonna do my own podcast, because the people I want to do it still ain't want to do it, and then I tried to do it with someone and it didn't work out. So I'll do it myself and see what comes of it. I didn't really have a true direction when I started. It was like, oh, I'm talking about gaming, I'm talking about anime, I'm talking about life, and then it just transformed into like, hey, I should just talk about mental health. Being that it's called the Relax and Thoughts Podcast, it like makes sense. So it became the Relax and Thoughts Podcast that you know it, where I talk about, you know, what I've been up to recently in life, good or bad or whatever. Then I talk about, you know, things that have happened in my life or things that have happened in life and how I relate to the things that have happened to other people and whatnot. So that's that. And here we are, 100 episodes later. This is, of course, my second podcast. Of course, we're doing the Splits and Sake podcast now. I was trying to do another podcast, but that podcast relied heavily on me having guests, and it was only going to be on my YouTube channel solely, where, again, it'll be me and a guest. We'll play a game together, and we'll just talk about gaming, like, you know, what's your history in gaming, like, you know, interview thing, like, hey, what's your history in gaming, what games you like, why you like these games, whatever, blah blah blah, and we just play the games, and that's it. It'll be a fun time. But again, it relies heavily on guests, and I don't have a lot of guests to keep asking all the time, because, you know, yeah. So yeah, right now, I'm not focusing on the Splits and Sake podcast because, like, again, I said, until they ready to really like go in with it. Again, like I said, the reason why my first podcast and a different in passion. If I'm more passionate about doing this podcast than my two co-hosts, I'm going to be frustrated doing the podcast with them, and it's going to kill my motivation to do it. So I'm going to move at their pace. So when they're ready to do it, and whatever, I'm here. You need me, I'm here type thing. But I'm not going to go out my way to use up my energy, and y'all not ready to even like put in the effort. So that's that. But until then, like I said, then if I do come back on my solo podcast, it'll probably be a gaming anime related thing. But then I was like, hey, I mean, technically we're doing that on Splits and Sake. So my second idea is that I hijack the Splits and Sake channel. Not technically hijack, but because I was already doing it, where we do our segments along with the podcast. I did the Manga Monday, What You've Been Reading segment, where that segment was supposed to be a community effort, where I wanted the fans, mostly, whoever watch us, whoever support us, to submit videos of them talking about what manga they reading, and we'll upload it to the channel so that we can have, you know, some kind of interaction with our community. But, you know, that didn't work. So I'm thinking that on downtimes like this, where we haven't uploaded an episode in almost a year, it's been almost a year that we stopped the first season, I could have just hijacked it and just started doing solo things, and that would be my solo podcast where I talk about, hey, this episode, Assassin's Creed just came out. I'll talk about all the backlash that happens. I'll talk about my experience with playing the game, how I feel about the game, should you buy it or not, basically, you know, something like that. Maybe do manga things, like so I could probably do that. What I've been, you know, like what's new type thing. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But like, oh, I played Assassin's Creed. This is the story. This is the situation. Blah. Also, I've been reading this manga. This is the story. Blah blah blah. And that'll be the episode. And that'll technically be the podcast, a solo podcast, but it'll be strictly on just the channel of Splits and Sake. So those are my my options right now. And if they hear in this podcast, of course, it's up to them if they cool with that or not. I mean, well, not so much if they cool with that or not. I don't care if they're cool with it or not. But more so if they like, hey, that's a good idea. Whether they approve of it or not. Once again, like I said, if I see them like, if we having this long break again, I'm gonna hijack the channel. So hey. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my podcast journey. It started off as a dislike for the idea of just yapping on the mic to Um, Actually, this does sound like a good idea if you get friends. Solo podcast is tricky. Um, I didn't want to do solo podcasting. I don't like doing. I don't like doing most of the things that I do solo. I don't like doing my music stuff solo. I had to do it solo when I first started because it was a form of healing for me. That's the reason why I started doing music. It was a form of expression. That's how I got big into creative expression. Like there's a way to express yourself without being harmful to yourself. So that's why I did it. But I found out that it was a lot more fun because I was a part of a rap group in high school. I found that it was more fun just doing it with friends, and like we could do all of this, and different people had their own styles of how they rap, and we could just come together and just do something crazy. I never wanted to do it by myself, but it's whatever, I don't know. It's just a rap passion in me that just wanted to just keep going, so I just kept going. I didn't want to do streaming by myself. I didn't want to do YouTubing by myself. I wanted to get ahead of the curve on YouTube. Like 2010, 2011, more so 2011. I already had the idea of like me and my boys, we played Gears of War, we played Call of Duty, we played these games heavily, and we'd be going crazy on these games. I was like, yo, we should like all chip in or whatever to get a capture card. Like one of us will have a capture card, which it will probably be me because I'm the most passionate person. I'm willing to sit there and learn how to do capture card. I'm willing to learn how to edit videos. So I was like, yo, we should all just chip in and just do this and make a channel. And this is the time where YouTube gaming was fresh and new. Who knows where it could have gone if we started, but it didn't happen. Again, fast forward to like 2015 is when I officially uploaded gaming to my channel. Of course, I have YouTube channels, but that was the first time I officially I'm gonna upload gaming, and then even at that, the way I uploaded my games was because I would stream the gameplay off of the Xbox, because the Xbox allow you to natively just stream off the console. And then, of course, just go on the website, download the VOD into my computer, and just upload it right there. And that's how I started my YouTube channel and my streaming channel at the same time. But, of course, again, as I grew, if you like watch my latest video or my latest important video, you can see how much I grew into just, hey, I'm just going to do regular gaming to like actually doing like more of a video essay style channel. But yeah, I never wanted to do a lot of these things by myself, but what I was willing to do, or what my goal was to do these things enough to motivate like my peers around me and my friends around me that, oh, like, this is dope that you're doing. We should all do this together, because why not? And they coming around slowly. My cousin streaming, Splits and Sake finally started. I'm trying to get my other friends want to start YouTube channels. I already told them, like, yo, whatever y'all want to do, I'll be your number one supporter. I'll be your number one helper. You want to do a channel, but like, hey, I don't know how to really edit videos. I will edit your video for you. Like, I want to help you do what you enjoy doing. Especially, I'm a big promoter of creative expression. So if this makes you happy, if you find enjoyment out of doing this, I will support you 100%. It's just that y'all just need to get that fire lit and get in there. But yeah, that's my journey. That's that. So going with this podcast before we close the curtains. Again, this podcast, 100 episodes. Let me see. I believe this podcast has been around for about 4 years. I want to say, I don't want to falsely age my podcast. Oops, that was not even what I clicked. Excuse me. Let me see. It's to Otis. October of 2020. So unfortunately it's not October now. So 4.5 years of this podcast journey. What have I learned? How did I enjoy this? A full recap of my own podcast, a full review of my thoughts on this podcast, my relaxing thoughts on the Relaxing Thoughts podcast. It was tricky at the start because again I didn't want to do none of this by myself. So even like, you know, going back and listening to like the first few episodes is cringy because I was forcing myself to talk real calm, and like, because the whole concept is digitalization, I'm trying to be like a relaxing voice in your ear or whatever. Finding my confidence on how to talk on the mic, like now, like just sitting here before, like, oh, I didn't want to yap to myself, but here I am just fully yapping away by myself. So yeah, finding my confidence on being a content creator, it helped a lot on doing that. Finding my voice, knowing how to properly speak, and not so much how to speak, but also learning. Like, I'm a big, and this has been since like my music career. I'm a big like critic to myself. Obviously, a lot of people are, but like when it comes to like my audio stuff, like I listen to my songs, my old songs, I listen to my old podcasts, I hear like every mistake I made, every like, oh, like that didn't sound loud enough, that was too loud, like it wasn't properly mixed well, like I can hear everything, and some people probably don't even hear it, but I can hear all of that. So it keeps making me aware. That's why like every time I upload an episode, I'll listen to the episode when I upload it, and like I get to and I review like that didn't sound right there, like maybe next episode I can, you know, be more aware. So it was teaching me how to be more aware, how to find my voice, be more confident on my music journey, my content creating journey, my podcast journey. What else? I mean, it was good. It was a good way to, again, you know, when because, you know, again, you know, I have my best friend. I talk to her about everything and anything. You know, that's who I confide in and whatnot. You know, things on my mind, I talk to her. But no, again, different time zone. Like right now, you know, she's sleeping, I'm up, so I can't talk to her. But hey, guess what? I got this podcast. What's on my mind, I'll let it out here, especially if it relates to how I can talk, things I can talk about on the podcast. Like, oh, I wonder if other people are going through this, so let me talk about it. Because that's the whole point of the podcast. I keep saying it's the whole point, but the whole point of the podcast, the whole point of why I talk about the subjects I talk about, is because maybe, again, people are going through it. I didn't have nobody, you know, to talk about these things with. I didn't have a podcast that talked about these things. I didn't find no YouTube channels. I wasn't searching, but, you know, usually I don't search for it like directly. Like, things usually find me. I don't like searching for certain things like that. So that's why I say, even if maybe someone found this podcast, but maybe the topic didn't reach you, but maybe you know someone that the topic reached, share it with that person. That's why I always say just share the podcast. Because this episode might not be for you, but it could be for the next person who want to hear about the podcast journey and understand the highs and lows or whatever. Speaking of highs and lows, again, well, let's start off. I mean, it's gonna keep it positive for the most part. All my guests that, you know, popped up, whether it be friends or some strangers that I didn't know, and some that I ended up becoming cool with. But, you know, I'm pretty sure my cousin was on here. I believe both my cousins was on here. Yeah. definitely see episode 5. My cousin was on there. I don't know if my other cousin was on here, but I don't know what episode that was. Yeah, he was. Oh, he was on episode. All right, so episode 4 and 5, both my cousins popped up. I'm sure Dodge pulled up on here a couple of times, so shout out to Dodge. Bree and Rose, of course, it was the last episode guest. They was on here prior to that too. So shout out to them. Shout out to Jake. Probably ain't gonna hear this, but shout out to Jake. He appeared on this podcast a couple of times. Dilemma. Well, he goes by Dilemma now. I believe he popped up on this podcast a couple of times. He's one of the people who I just know. We was on the same Facebook group, and I'm like, hey, I want to guess, and we just popped up, and we became cool. To this day, we follow each other on TikTok and whatnot. We talk to each other. I was actually on one of his TikTok lives because he was talking about like the benefits or the dark side of AI, because he's really big on like the whole sci-fi and all of this. Like, he's all for it. So, but it's like, there's a lot of people who's like, so we were talking about that. So other people who pulled up on the podcast, appreciate everyone that popped up. The people who had to pull their teeth to get on here, you know who you are. And anyone who couldn't make the podcast, there were some failed guest attempts on some people, scheduling issues or whatever the situation is. And I was also supposed to be on other people's podcasts, but again, scheduling issues, whatever, ups and downs, scheduling issues. If you want to be on other people's podcasts, scheduling is big. A lot of people operate on different times, so you gotta make sure you get that good. You gotta make sure y'all set up, and all of that. So yeah, but it's enjoyable. It's a good thing, especially if you know what you're talking about. And of course, if you're not doing it by yourself, it's gonna be even more fun because you and your friends could just talk and have a good time. So yeah, the podcast was good. The podcast was fun. I enjoyed the journey. I talked about a lot. I talked about a lot about myself. There was an episode where I had a guest on here. I can't remember his name. I'm trying to see if I can find it. I don't know if I put his name on it. But we talked about it. I actually put it on my album too. But we talked about it, about being able to tell your story and be able to share your story. Like, there's a lot of, like, if you go on you in retrospect, you go to my podcast and you're looking at episode titles and it's like, oh, like, I don't know. Episode 26 right here is called Find Peace with Yourself. That sounds like an interesting topic, but also you'll learn how that topic relates to me, and whatnot. So my life is kind of documented here on this podcast. That's why I say on multiple podcasts. Like, I probably said this on the last podcast, but I repeat myself, just to enhance my point that how I relate to these things. So yeah, being able to tell your story. Don't let other people tell who you are while you're still around to tell your story, or while you have the tools to tell your story. You could hear my story through my podcast. You can hear my story through my music. I talk about myself through my music a lot. So I'm documented here. My legacy, in a sense, is here. Whoever want to hear about me, close friends, family members, I cemented myself here until the day the internet gods or whoever controlling the website that has my podcast just say, hey, we're just gonna just wipe everything. I am here. So again, like I said on that episode, you can listen to me now, you can listen to me later, but I'm here, documenting my history, especially in the time we are in now, where a lot of history and a lot of people's stories are being wiped away. To document your history, document yourself, whether different ways. You know, you want to take pictures of yourself, take videos of yourself. You know, if you're a person like that, if you're a person who's care about that, again, I know there's people like, no, just live in that moment and that's it. You know, the history and the memories will go with me. That's it. These moments are mine and mine to keep, and I'll take them to the grave with me. If you're a person like that, then you're a person like that. It is what it is, man. You know, everybody has their thing. Everybody has their journey, and that's mostly it. I didn't think I'd be yapping for this long, but you know, like I said, again, growing, getting comfortable with yapping. So yeah, that's the reflection of the podcast. Again, the question, of course, I already answered. Will I come back? Not to this podcast, because again, I haven't lived long enough to talk about the things I talked about. But even so, I don't think I want to talk. It's not even something I don't want to talk about this stuff. It's more so it's like I don't feel like there's anything left for me to say. Even so, like I don't know. Like, there's not much for me. I talked about a lot. And like I said, and you know, the whole, you know, about me section or the what I've been up to section, that's more so leaning towards like what I want to do. Like, hey, talk about the things that I'm actually like enjoying instead of like the life crisis. Like, hey, did y'all watch that new episode of this? Yeah. So if I do come back, again, I told you my two options. If I come back, it'll be a solo podcast. If I could get a guest, that'd be awesome. I'm not a guest, a co-host. I'll be awesome. But if I do come back to podcasting on my own terms, it will be more related to things that I enjoy. So gaming, you know, whatever, all of that. Or again, like I said, I'll just hijack the Splits and Sake channel and upload what I want to upload there. And you know, they just gonna have to fight me if they get mad. You know, that's what it is. But yeah, yeah, that's it, man. That is officially it. I think that's a wrap for me. There's nothing left for me to talk about. I enjoyed this 4.5 year journey. Y'all seen me when I have been having fun. Y'all seen me when I came back from hiatuses, and I explained why I took these hiatuses. So you know, I've been transparent with you guys. I laid it all out because you know it's fun and it's good to get things out. You know, don't keep things bottled up. You know, find a way to express yourself. Like I said, whether through podcast, through music, through drawing, any form of creative way to express yourself. I'm a big believer of creative expression. So, you know, don't be afraid to express yourself, and don't be afraid to express yourself the way you want to express yourself. You know, there's no formula to do it the right way. Do it your way because that's the way that works for you. So, yeah. That's it, man. That's it. I appreciate anyone who listened. I don't care if it's just been one person who just been clicking my episode, or I don't know if someone who's been reoccurring, coming back, or if it's been a new person every time I drop a new episode. Appreciate anyone who just gave the chance to listen, even for like 5 minutes, and y'all wasn't, man, this podcast sucking, I'm off. I appreciate that you still took the chance to click play. So appreciate everybody. Wish the best for everyone. Pray for the best for everyone. We're gonna keep going, keep growing, keep elevating, and keep having relaxing thoughts. Cause you know you can't just keep letting the negative stuff weigh you down. And you know you gotta keep pushing in this life, man. That's it. Cause this is your life. You live it how you gotta live it to be happy with how you lived it. And that's it. So. Yeah, there's no till next time unless, you know, I come back with my solo podcast. But, you know, again, you want to find me. Well, I don't want to say you can find me because, you know, low-key I'm trying to get away from like social media and all of that. But for the most part, you want to find me, Splits and Sake podcast. Search Splits and Sake on YouTube, or Splits and Sake podcast on YouTube. That's probably where I'll be the most active at. As of this moment, and maybe I'll update on that podcast. Other than that, I mean, you want to follow my YouTube, This Is Tube Relaxation. Make sure it's not some kind of relaxing ASMR videos or whatever. It's a gaming thing themed. Twitch, This Is Tube Relaxation. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. But yeah, till then, man, unless, we never cross paths again, peace. And, have a great day. Have a good week. Have a great year. Have a great life, everyone. And yeah, peace out.